Now I'm gonna try to hold it together but if you disrespect me, which is what he just did, I'm not gonna ask him about what he's talking about. When I get close enough, I'm finna show him what I ain't talking about. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Had he said that in my day, they could not.
Look, the boxing world just got turned upside down because of what went down between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson at their latest press conference. What people who were there are claiming they witnessed has everyone talking, and nobody can believe it actually happened. This wasn't your typical back-and-forth trash talk session between two undefeated champions. Word is things got physical in a way that crossed every line, and if the rumored footage surfaces, it's going to change everything we thought we knew about this rivalry. People who say they saw it go down are telling everyone that Teofimo allegedly made actual contact with Shakur during a moment that went way past normal pre-fight drama.
Don't try me.
Nah, you
Hold up, though?
fight a fighter with that kind of style yet
Don't
to
try
know,
me.
like, whether he's, that's all I'm saying.
Don't try me.
Different energy coming to this whole situation, man. People who were supposedly there are saying the explosion happened when everything reached a breaking point, and one witness allegedly dropped this bomb, saying Teofimo completely lost it. They were having words 1 minute, and the next thing you know, his hand connected with Shakur's face. The whole room went silent because nobody thought it would actually get that real. Social media has been going absolutely crazy, with fans hunting for any video proof and demanding to know what really went down between these two elite-level fighters. But here's the thing, though. The complete story of what actually happened is still pretty fuzzy, and different people who claim they saw it are giving slightly different versions of how this whole confrontation actually played out. Before we get into the exact details of what supposedly happened during this insane moment, Shakur's reaction right after has made this rivalry even more intense. There it is. There it is.
Real quick, Izzy, you should be in the middle.
Right after the alleged contact went down, Shakur Stevenson supposedly fired back in a way that made it crystal clear he wasn't about to let this disrespect slide, without major consequences. People who claim they witnessed what happened next say Shakur allegedly went after Teofimo, but got immediately grabbed by security and both teams. Someone close to the whole situation supposedly said Shakur was completely ready to throw down right there on the spot. He kept repeating, "You just made the worst mistake of your career," again and again. His entire crew had to physically hold him back from rushing Teo.
I'm officially changing my pick. I gotta go Teo. Gotta go Teo, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Teo just going crazy, bro. He too locked in. His mental is dead. He's like past this. He like, bro, I'm finna run through Shakur. I'm finna knock his ass out. He's not finna make it. He's on it, and I get it. Y'all gonna say he's never gonna be able to touch him, but Shakur has not fought nobody as fucking well-rounded as a great fighter as Teofimo. And Shakur style,
This supposed reaction is especially wild because Shakur Stevenson usually stays cool and composed during press events, almost never letting his emotions take control like that. Tons of boxing people think that if Teofimo really did put his hands on Shakur, he crossed a boundary that's going to make their fight way more personal and dangerous than anyone expected.
Cause he buddy with.
Ain't you gonna beat me?
But I'm saying.
The boxing scene has been going nuts with theories about whether this supposed incident was real beef or perfectly planned theater designed to boost pay-per-view numbers. What's crazy is there were supposedly red flags that the tension between these fighters was getting to dangerous levels way before this press conference even happened. People familiar with what led up to this event say Teofimo Lopez had supposedly been making more and more aggressive comments about Shakur in the days before their face-off.
But I think it's time. I think it's really that time for him to really take his first loss and, me whoop his ass to the point where either he quits on the stool or I.
Word is Teofimo had allegedly told his team something like, "I'm done with this dude acting like nobody can touch him. When we get to that press conference, I'm going to show him what happens when you disrespect me and everything I stand for." These supposed pre-event comments now mean something completely different if the reports about physical contact are real, suggesting this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment reaction. Tons of boxing analysts think the bad blood between Lopez and Stevenson goes way deeper than what we've seen publicly, with personal beef going back years making everything more intense. People connected to both sides suggest there were major arguments about everything from who gets featured more prominently to how the whole promotion was being handled, building up tension long before they got on that stage.
So the question is, does Teofimo have the speed to land to throw and land with his feet and his hands before Shakur's magical, legendary defensive skills can pick it up and get out the way.
People familiar with the behind-the-scenes negotiations say there was supposedly a moment where Teofimo's father jumped into an argument with Shakur's crew about respect and doing things the right way. One source supposedly said Teofimo Sr. was going back and forth with Shakur's people about who the real champion is and who deserves more recognition. That's apparently when things got really personal between both camps. This family drama supposedly added another layer of complexity to an already explosive situation, with pride and legacy becoming huge factors in this escalating beef. The most controversial aspect of this whole situation is what supposedly went down in that exact moment when physical contact occurred between both fighters. People who claim they had a perfect view of what happened described the supposed contact coming during what looked like a normal face-off for promotional pictures. Multiple sources tell the story with incredible consistency, supposedly saying that Teofimo and Shakur were standing nose to nose when Lopez suddenly moved his hand. Someone who claims they were standing right there supposedly revealed they were staring each other down for the cameras, and Teo started mumbling something. Shakur said something back, and that's when Teo's hand came up and hit Shakur on the side of his face. These supposed details haven't been independently confirmed through official video, and it's still not clear whether security cameras got the exact moment of contact. But the sheer number of people supposedly backing up similar versions suggests that something major definitely went down during that face-off. Fans have been flooding social media with both anger and excitement about these claims, with emotions running sky-high throughout the boxing community. One fan supposedly posted, "If Teo really touched Shakur at a press conference, this fight just became absolutely must-watch. The disrespect is insane, and Shakur is going to destroy him for it." Someone else wrote with obvious doubt, "This sounds like promotional garbage to me. They're trying to sell a fight that nobody was really excited about. Pretty convenient that this happens right when ticket sales need help." But supporters of both fighters have been going hard defending their guy, pointing to past actions and personalities as proof for why their version makes sense. One hardcore Teofimo fan commented, "Teo doesn't mess around. If Shakur was talking wild about his family, he had every right to check it. That's not disrespect. That's defending yourself." This split among fans perfectly shows the bigger argument about whether the supposed incident was justified confrontation or completely unprofessional conduct. When this alleged physical confrontation supposedly happened, has people throughout boxing asking serious questions, especially considering how close it was to their actual fight date. The supposed incident went down at a promotional event that was meant to create positive energy for their January 31st showdown at Madison Square Garden.
Man, I don't think none of these dudes is on my level when I'm at my best, so he got a lot to deal with come January 31st.
So without giving up too much, when you look at him as a professional and you see what he's done, the fights he's fought, his style, what is it about him that you are going to exploit?
I think he the truth. He do a lot of things well. I think he
Lots of people think it's fishy that such a dramatic escalation would happen at this exact moment in the promotional timeline when interest needed to be boosted. Boxing promoter reactions to the supposed incident are all over the place, with some supposedly suggesting this could be the greatest thing that ever happened for pay-per-view sales. People close to the promotional team supposedly said that internal conversations immediately started about how to manage the situation and whether extra security would be necessary. One promotional insider who wanted to stay anonymous supposedly revealed the promoters were actually pumped when they heard what happened. Drama sells fights, and this kind of real hatred is exactly what gets casual fans to spend their money. But others in the boxing business have supposedly expressed worry that things could get dangerously out of hand if proper safety measures aren't put in place for future promotional events. The possible consequences of this alleged physical contact go way beyond just promotional theater and could have serious implications for both fighters. Athletic Commission rules usually don't allow fighters to get into physical fights during the promotional period before a sanctioned fight. If the supposed contact gets verified and determined to be a violation of pre-fight behavior rules, Teofimo Lopez could potentially face fines or other disciplinary measures. Legal experts familiar with boxing rules have supposedly suggested that how severe any potential punishment would be depends entirely on how the commission views the contact. One boxing lawyer who handles fighter behavior cases supposedly said if this was an open-hand contact during a heated moment, it might get treated as minor misconduct. But if it gets classified as a strike with intent to cause harm, that's a way more serious violation. These legal factors add another dimension to an already messy situation, and both camps are supposedly being extremely careful about their official statements. What makes this situation even more fascinating is what Teofimo Lopez's team has supposedly been saying privately about the incident compared to what they're saying publicly. People claiming to have knowledge of internal team conversations say Lopez's camp is supposedly backing their fighters' actions as a justified response to being provoked.
Would Teofimo knock out Shakur? No. Can Teo adjust to the point where he beats Shakur? Yeah. You don't see how? Shakur hates slick and economic boxers. So does Teo. They both hate what each other are. Shakur looks great against volume punchers. De Los Santos sitting back and not being active, Shakur doesn't look good.
People close to Teofimo supposedly suggest that Shakur said something extremely disrespectful about Lopez's family during the face-off, crossing a boundary that required an immediate response. One member of Team Lopez supposedly shared, "You can talk all the trash you want about Teo as a fighter, but when you start bringing up his family and making it personal, there are going to be consequences." Shakur found out about that lesson. This supposed justification has connected with some fans who think that certain lines should never be crossed regardless of promotional duties. But Shakur's supporters have supposedly argued back that nothing Stevenson said could possibly justify physical contact at a professional event, no matter how offensive it might have been. The aftermath of this supposed incident has reportedly created major challenges for event organizers trying to plan future promotional activities.
Shakur's a great talent, and Teofimo looked great in his last fight. Of course, he didn't have Shakur in front of him, but I think that for Shakur, he has to keep the fight at his distance. If he does that, I think it's a win for him. Teofimo, he's more, he wants to draw you in, he wants to counterpunch. He's going to have to be a different guy this time.
Word is that security protocols for the next scheduled press conference have supposedly been completely redesigned to prevent any chance of the fighters getting within striking distance. Promotional staff are supposedly now talking about whether future face-offs should include a physical separator between the fighters or require extra security personnel. One event coordinator supposedly said, "We can't risk anything after what supposedly happened." If these guys actually start fighting before fight night, it could mess up the entire event and cost everyone millions of dollars. These worries reflect the serious business implications of letting personal hatred escalate beyond controlled trash talk into actual physical confrontation.
Great defensive fighter, very good offensive fighter. The difference between the two, for me, I think that Teofimo might be a little bit stronger of the two. But, you know, speed can sometimes nullify power.
As news of the supposed incident keeps spreading throughout the boxing world, the response from other fighters has been absolutely incredible. Multiple active boxers have supposedly spoken up on social media about whether Teofimo's supposed actions were justified or completely out of line for a professional athlete. Some fighters supposedly showed support for Lopez standing up for himself, while others criticized any physical contact outside the ring as unprofessional and dangerous. Former champion fighters who have dealt with similar heated rivalries supposedly offered perspective based on their own experiences with pre-fight tensions. One retired boxer supposedly commented, "I understand the emotion and the heat of the moment, but you have to be smarter than that. Save it for fight night when you can legally cause damage and get paid for it."
How I see this fight being played out is with me pretty much setting that momentum for the people out there as well. You know, not really trying to force for it. However, I can't be too technical with Shakur. You got to make it a little ugly. You got to make it a little ugly. If you try to be too technical with Shakur, it could be too long of a weighted chess match.
This veteran insight highlights the professional stakes involved and why most experienced fighters learn to channel aggression the right way. The supposed incident has also started bigger conversations about the boundary between real rivalry and fake drama in modern boxing promotion. Fans and media people are supposedly arguing about whether the sport benefits from this kind of genuine hatred, or if it creates a dangerous example for future promotional events.
I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Yeah, Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, this is not going to be a close fight at all. Like, I don't think you guys understand just how good Shakur is. He is one of the best 135-pounders on the planet. In fact, I actually have him as the best 135-pounder on the planet. I don't think that Teofimo Lopez has the fight IQ to close the distance. I don't think he's going to be able to land the shots. I think that Shakur is going to be on the back foot, jabbing, doing what he usually does his way to a decision.
Some argue that real bad blood creates the most compelling storylines and generates the highest pay-per-view numbers, while others worry about fighters getting hurt before they can actually compete. Boxing historians have supposedly pointed to past incidents where pre-fight altercations either helped or hurt the eventual fight, providing mixed evidence about the impact. As both camps supposedly continue handling the fallout from this incident, the biggest question remains whether this will affect the actual fight on January. Many boxing experts think that if the supposed physical contact really happened, it could completely change the psychology of their upcoming battle in the ring.
What a lot of people describe what Shakur does is the same thing that people used to describe as what Floyd Mayweather did, right? People called him a runner, a track star, this and that. Now he's acknowledged as one of the greatest fighters of all time. And I think it's going to be the same thing here with Shakur Stevenson. I think we're going to see the level of dominance, the level of fight IQ. And I think that the only way that Teo wins this fight is if he's able to get into an exchange with Shakur, where Shakur's ego...
Fighters who feel disrespected or embarrassed often enter fights with different mental approaches, sometimes leading to more aggressive and reckless fighting. Sports psychologists who work with combat athletes have supposedly suggested that this kind of personal hatred can either improve a fighter's focus or make them abandon their game plan.
Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson.
I like both guys, honestly. I like both guys. Teofimo, he's funny, he's got character, but he's a great fighter. He's very athletic. He comes from awkward angles, and I do like his style, but...
I study the game, and I watch the game. The unpredictable element in this entire situation is how each fighter deals with what supposedly happened and whether it gives either of them a mental advantage going into fight night. One thing that seems guaranteed is that interest in the Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson fight has supposedly exploded since news of the incident dropped.
The difference is you never fought no elite fighter.
Okay, I don't think y'all did either.
Oh, so you gotta show it, baby.
I don't think y'all did either. I ain't see.
Not on my son.
I ain't see Lomachenko throw no punches.
You never been on a big stage like this.
I didn't see Lomachenko throw punches.
You never been on a big stage like.
Ticket sales for the Madison Square Garden event have supposedly jumped, and social media buzz around the fight has hit levels that promoters could only hope for. Whether this supposed confrontation was spontaneous explosion or carefully planned promotion, it has definitely accomplished the goal of making this fight feel like absolutely must-see television. As we get closer to January 31st, the boxing world will be watching closely to see if there are any more confrontations or if both teams can keep professional distance. For now, fans can only wonder about what really went down at that press conference and whether the supposed physical contact will translate into even more intensity when these two finally step into the ring.
Teo lands his jab when he wants to. Jab to the body, bang, right there. He landed the jab up top a few times, where Shakur is just posturing. This makes for a very boring fight. What y'all think? Let me know.
That's everything for now. For the absolute best updates on news, moments, events, and action in the boxing world, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you get alerted when we drop quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.